Welcome to the third video in the Pacing is Your Superpower series. Today, we're going to talk about how you actually pace. But before we start, we have to figure out a few parts of your plan. First of all, find your team. Yes, you are in charge of your pacing program, but that doesn't mean you don't need some help along the way. You need sidekicks. This can include doctors, physios, parents, friends, and teachers. They can help you figure out and carry out the logistics of your plan. And it doesn't hurt to have people cheering you on when you have a success and to keep you going when things aren't going so well. Pacing is a long journey and you can't do it alone. Next up, changing your mindset to activate your superpowers. It's easy as A, B, C. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. A is for acceptance. You have to understand and accept that pacing isn't a magical cure, but it can get you to where you want to be. Doubting takes up energy, and that just makes things even more difficult. B is for belief. You have to believe that you can be pain-free, or at least live your life the way you want to. Tell it to yourself every day. I can be pain-free. And finally, C is for commitment. The road ahead isn't going to be easy, but you have to push through and keep going. The power of pacing comes from taking small steps every day, good or bad, until you get to your goal. Now it's time to make your pacing plan, and this starts with choosing your activity. Pacing can be applied to any activity, and it's up to you to decide what's most important to get back into your life. But don't go overboard, otherwise you'll be overwhelmed and pacing will be useless. With the help of my doctors and my physio, I decided that my first activity would be to walk. This was something that my body was super sensitive to, and it made my quality of life terrible. I decided that my goal would be walking for 30 consecutive minutes, with the hopes of using this as a stepping stone to go back to running and to get my black belt in Taekwondo. Now it's time to find your baseline, which is pretty much the place to start. It's really important to remember through your entire pacing journey that you don't want your pain to flare or become too intolerable. So to start, you're going to do your activity for as long as you can until your pain flares. This is what doctors call your baseline. Then take that time, divide it in half, and you have your starting point. For me, doing the walking, my baseline was 6 minutes, so I could walk 6 minutes before the pain became too intolerable. Then I took 6 minutes, divided it in half to get 3 minutes, which was where I started. 3 minutes seemed really small. How was I going to ever achieve 10 times that at 30 minutes? Well, what I had to remind myself, and what you have to remember, is that no matter how small your starting point seems, you have to start from there. That is where your body needs to be in order to achieve what your pacing goal is. The next step is to figure out by how much and how often you're going to increase your time or amount of your activity. This is different for every activity, and it greatly depends on how sensitive your body is. When I had chronic pain, my body was super sensitive, and so I had to increase my time really slowly. At first, it was only every 4 to 5 days. By how much? 1 minute at a time. This is where your support team can be super useful, as they can guide you in what your pacing time should be, as well as keep you on track, making sure you shouldn't go too fast or too slow. That was a lot of information crammed into 4 minutes. So here's a recap. Number 1, figure out your pacing sidekicks. Number 2, understand and accept that pacing won't be a magical cure, but with hard work, it will work. Number 3, figure out which activities you're gonna pace. Number 4, figure out where you're gonna start. Number 5, figure out by how much and how frequently you're going to increase your time or amount. And number 6, start pacing. Truthfully, those first few points are super easy, but when it comes to actually pacing, things get much more complicated, and you're gonna have so many ups and downs, and there are gonna be times where you won't know what to do. That's why I've created the next video to let you know on the tips and tricks that I learned through my pacing journey that the doctors didn't tell you.